Michael, just to start asking you some questions about the BIM file. Obviously, you've been using it through the development of the product with Matterport here. So I'm just keen to understand what your experience was of Matterport BIM file and what benefits you saw from utilizing it.
Yeah, thanks, Kris. I think the thing that stood out to me was really the quality of the modelling was probably better than I expected. You sort of go in with a fairly low expectation, and it surprised me. I was impressed with what came back, and then once I actually loaded up the Revit add-in, and just the ability is to link that information directly in, it really just started to make a lot of sense. Where anytime we can start reducing workarounds, reducing the steps along the whole path, we can simplify the process. More and more people within the organisation can get involved. So instead of leaving it up to some, BIM hero like myself, I just end up becoming a pain point because everything can't go through one person. So the more you can distribute that out to the team and enable them to actually take control, the better it is. So anytime we have any of these sorts of advances and it becomes run-of-the-mill, everyday kind of work, it's a benefit to everyone, I think.
Great. And I'm guessing because the kind of base level BIM file was delivered to you, that meant you had an opportunity to concentrate your efforts in more prominent areas.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the idea being that instead of having to check for resources, understand, all the different aspects of the workflow, if there's something that we can do just to simplify that, if everyone's too stretched, it gives us an option. And I guess that's the thing I sort of see this as it's an additional option. Instead of having one particular workflow, you have multiple threaded workflows. So it actually can simplify the process from someone who's trying to organise resources, or even if you're working with other partners who might not have those skills, you can point them towards this as an option to assist them, because it's not always done just within an Arup environment. We're working with architects, builders, subcontractors, many different partners who all might be brand new to the BIM process. So anything like this that can offer opportunities, I think is a good thing.
Great. And obviously I'm keen to kind of give the audience here a little bit of an example of the workflow you actually went through. So you were kind enough to share some models and some videos with us. So if you could just tell us a little bit about, the reason why you looked at BIM file and what workflow and what software you went through to get to the end of the project, that would be appreciated.
Sure. Yeah, well, this is the Robin Boyd House, which is a heritage house in Melbourne, and you can see the cable suspended roof there. It's a unique feature of this house. It's the architect's own residence, and the problem with cables is over time, so this is mid-century sort of building, over time those cables stretch. So I was brought in just to do some laser scanning initially of those cables to actually measure the deflection and sort of see how it's evolved over time. So you can sort of see that really flexible roof. So as is my practice in most projects, as I'm laser scanning, because a laser scanner takes 10-15 minutes per station, I'll also do a Matterport, because the nice thing about the Matterport is immediately I can send something back to the client the next day for the virtual tour and also for the internal team, so they can actually use that as a virtual walkthrough. That was the initial purpose of the Matterport originally. And obviously, since our initial use, it has actually grown and grown in its usefulness. So this is a perfect opportunity. I thought, oh yeah, we're in here. Let's just see what these guys can do. So I threw this project into the BIM beta, and I was really impressed with what came out. You can see there, I'm clicking on the roof. It's not just a block, straight piece of modelling there. It's a curved surface, and I thought straight away, this has got some real value. So then what I did is I started overlaying the laser scan, which I did, and to compare, well, how accurate is this actual model? And once again, I can see discrepancies, but they're small and easily managed. And here you can see how I share the models and the scans with the team. It's a nice way of visualizing the image as well as the model, so you can sort of see how I'm comparing the modeling and the scanning and the laser scanning all together. So yeah, look, I was really happy with the result. And for this heritage building, where there's lots of 2D drawings by the architect himself, it just simplifies that whole process of bringing that into a model environment.
Yeah, sure. That's great. I mean, it's really nice to see a workflow there of you starting with the Matterport, then receiving the BIM file from us, and then comparing it between the two to double check, you know, and make sure that it is as you expect. And as you've mentioned, this isn't a straightforward building here. It's quite complex in terms of the curvature and, you know,
Yeah.
that roof system on there. I am aware you obviously took this information as well, and you've been doing some fantastic work internally with various apps on the phone and using the BIM file inside that app as well. So I think we've got another slide to showcase that. I was really impressed when I saw this. It was kind of a unique way to use kind of augmented reality and, you know, a bit of a mix, but key and central to that, you know, to be able to get augmented reality to kind of work, play in the fields that we do. You need the BIM and you need the building information model there sitting behind it to be able to see the assets that are hidden or yet to be installed. So yeah, if you could give us a little bit of a summary of this, that would be really, really great.
Sure. This was a bit of a test project, working with partners for you. And so what we did is, this is our own office building for our own office space in Melbourne for the Arup Melbourne office, and we designed the base building as well as the tenancy. And I took that as an opportunity to scan laser and Matterport during construction as well as post-construction. So we did a full scan verification. You can see there we've got the construction site Matterport, and we thought we'd take an opportunity to start, you know, incorporating this into an augmented reality app. And so the Matterport formed part of that, as well as the architectural models, as well as the verified as-built MEP. And so I guess this is the thing that I really enjoy, is the additional application of the Matterport as the basis within Unity, in this case, to start taking in live data. You can see the temperature sensor on the wall, and then incorporating that into a useful app to see how can we use this technology to use it for, how can we use it for, you know, even just finding and linking drawings for assets. You can sort of see the overlay of the model over the top of the Matterport walkthrough. There's the wayfinding. So this is not in use currently, but what it's used for was to test the limits. What can we do with augmented reality using Matterport as part of that capture?
Yeah, sure. That's great. So there's obviously the scan data has been brought in there for the various stages that you've scanned at, but what you're seeing there is obviously the BIM file sitting behind that. And
Yep.
in terms of getting hold of the kind of base BIM file that Matterport are offering now, what level of customization did you take and add to that kind of model after we had sent you that?
Well, it's really about adding data to it. The information that you can see here, as we click on because we can scan during the installation process, we can actually, you know, effectively see behind the walls, and then we can start adding in data like this, so the owner manuals for maintenance, for example, and then we can start adding links to live data. So all of that kind of stuff is custom, but by having a BIM file, it sort of shortcuts this process down in regards to acquiring the 3D information to start with. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's one of
sure.
those things.
And it really is kind of going towards this direction of a kind of fully integrated digital twin, you know, where the digital world is reflecting the real world in real time. And it's great to see kind of Matterport being used as the base to kind of go along those. I guess, Michael, before we look to close out and start our Q&A with the general public, from Arup side of things, what critical problems do you see your customers and yourselves facing over the next couple of years?
I think it's it's the general expectation that this is the new normal. So for us, it's the demand. Excuse me. The demand ever since we started using Revit, I think back in 2007, between 2007 and 2009, it was sort of it became it was the special projects that really needed the 3D. You know, now everything is modeled, everything has a standard attached. It's the basic expectation that all projects are run this way. And I think in the last 5-6 years, it's the construction industry that is now completely on board in regards to builders, MEP subcontractors. It's now the normal. So I think one of the biggest challenges is resourcing. To be honest, resourcing and quality are the real issues. The timelines keep reducing, the expectation keeps going up. So it's that sort of resourcing, quality staff, quality outputs to maintain that. And we do a lot in regards to templates and running out global templates. There's a full team constantly working on these things as the software improves, as there's more and more interoperability between different software packages. There's always updates, there's always work going on. So it's keeping on top of that and making sure what we're delivering is still quality while being upfront and on top of that development curve. I think for us, that's what I would see as the big challenges. And I think if you're stepping into this whole field for the first time, it's pretty overwhelming. Obviously, we've got a long history of technology development. We've got our own programmers, but there's a lot of history there and a lot of development. I think if you're stepping into this as a new operator, there's so much more available now than there was, but that's part of the problem. It can be overwhelming how much is out there and how much to take in.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And I think you hit on two things there that I think BIM files will be really beneficial towards, in that, you know, for those first trying it and not having the expertise or the skill sets to actually be able to do scan to BIM workflows, this is another offering for them to essentially add additional services to their output. And then again, resourcing, you know, as you've said, having the teams there working away, modeling, creating these building information models. If we can kind of ease that a little bit more, it adds time and area for your team to get more value.